Benjamin. Frost.
Can you hear me?
What's
Hear
up,
you now,
Ben?
brother?
Yeah, what's up, Ross?
Hey, Ricardo. What's up, guys?
What up?
Oh, it's
What's going on,
Nate.
What's up,
homies?
Nate?
So
Yeah, I
I'm
thought Sam was gonna be here as well. I didn't realize it was just us.
he just uncommitted, bro.
That's right.
Wait, who?
Wow. Sam.
Gosh.
All right, I'm gonna make all you guys co-hosts so that you can unmute at the necessary times.
Cool.
Yeah, what's up, Sam?
What's up, y'all? Good to see you.
What up, Sam?
I like the plant, Ricardo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's fake. It's made of real plastic.
The best ones.
That's hilarious.
Man. I'm loving Ben Middlekauff's new place. Look at that background. It's
Yeah,
incredible.
it's a different setup than what I'm used to seeing.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely is a different setup. For sure, more space than that last place. But yeah, I don't have any fake plants though, so I'll have to get on that, Ricardo.
Yours are all real. Yours are all too.
Yeah, I mean, how do you
Good
do
for-
it? How do you keep them alive? Like, I feel like that's a lot of work, right?
Like,
It is a lot of
whenever
work.
you have like plastic bottles, you just bury it into the.
You feed it more
Yeah.
plastic. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Nice. Look at Nate. It's a beautiful plant. Is that one real?
Yes, it is real.
Ah,
Oh dang! Wow, he's really
So I-
showing his plant off.
So I've killed so many plants, but I'm proud of the one I'm saving. These used to be just like 3 like stems, but now look at that.
Wow.
Oh,
Oh, look at Sam's. Oh man. Okay, I'm
Hey, you
putting my
guys.
little plant away. All right.
100% real.
ah.
Wow. Real plastic too.
Real.
No, 100% real. Real plant.
Wow.
Can't
Ah,
take any
beautiful.
credit for that. Kaylin takes care of it.
Wow, very
See,
nice.
Ross doesn't eat any plants. Ross, you don't eat plants, right? You got
I'm
2
in
kids to
space.
keep alive, and that's more than enough.
I'm in space. They don't survive out here. But congrats, Ben. Congrats on the new place.
Thanks. Yeah, what does it say? It's cool to be in a new spot for sure. For sure. I think we're closer to you guys too now.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Minami told me that you're closer by, so I'm looking forward to linking up.
Yeah, for sure. There's actually a good barbecue spot down below our building.
Which one?
It's called Aju's.
Oh, I know. Are
It's
you on
like,
Broadway? You're like on Broadway and like what is that?
99.
I know exactly the spot. I've walked by that spot.
Yeah, that's where we live now. So, but what do you think of the barbecue in your perspective?
I have not actually eaten there yet. It used to be like a Starbucks, I think. But yeah, it's like so new. I haven't even gone there yet.
Yeah, so I really enjoy it, but I'm really curious what you think of it because I'm kind of a novice at barbecue. I feel like most barbecue I have is good, so I'm not the greatest judge of like what is really good, you know?
Let's get lunch there one day.
For sure.
Plants and barbecue. I love it. Best teen class so far.
Mhm.
It's incredible.
They're not ready for the barbecue. They're not ready for that, you know?
Barbecue lesson.
Yeah, they're not there yet. We'll get them there. So Nate, so you want to do some Among Us? Some would you rather Among Us questions?
Yeah, let's get it going. So I'll go ahead and share my screen.
Welcome to the people who are on right now. We're gonna do a little activity while we're waiting for more people to join. We usually give people like 5 to 10 minutes. If you're here, you guys are at the right spot for the guys class. If you're a girl and you're on this call, there is a separate link and that is in your email. So you can go check that out there for the girls class this morning, the women's class. This is the men's class. So it's great to have everybody here. And Nate Baker has a little activity for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I figured we could do some would you rather questions as everybody gets in. So if you guys want to like click on that link on your devices, and we can start get a live poll going. So would you rather never get tired or never have to go to the bathroom? Never get tired or never have to go to the bathroom? What would you want? It's all about efficiency here. I think for me, let me get on this thing. Bathroom, okay. I think I'll go for never tired, personally. Oh, 50-50. Bathrooms are, oh man.
How tired are we talking, you know?
Like, I guess the way I'm taking it is like never have to go to sleep. Like, would you never want to go to sleep or never have to go to the bathroom?
But like, your brain wouldn't like blow up from the overload.
Yes, exactly. Okay.
What would you choose?
I'm going with bathroom if we're not talking like chronic fatigue here, you know?
Okay, you're a bathroom man? Like not going to the bathroom?
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah,
I would say
if you never have to go to sleep, you would have so much time on your hands.
big time.
Exactly.
Big time. Totally agree.
man, I might actually change mine based off of that insight.
Nope.
No, Ben.
Gotta commit.
Locked in.
Gotta commit.
Oh man, I'm locked into the
I'm with Sam. I'm with Sam. Never tire. Besides,
think about how much
when I'm in the
time
bathroom,
people spend on the bathroom.
I don't think
That's
it's
fine.
in comparison
That's
to
fine.
time.
Saying,
Okay,
you see, I go to TikTok when I'm in the bathroom, so it keeps it interesting. I don't want to waste that time.
that's your time you go on TikTok.
You can't go on TikTok when you're sleeping.
All right, next question. If you want to join, the link is in the chat. Would you rather have a hamster-sized dog or a dog-sized hamster?
Hamsters.
I think it would be interesting to see a dog-sized hamster, but I feel like that's probably just like a puppy. Like those are like the size of a hamster.
No, see, a hamster is kind of vicious. And if it's a
Oh, yeah.
dog-sized hamster,
Mm,
I don't know, man.
that's a
It's
good
real
Imagine
trouble.
how much of your
Crazy.
stuff it would like chew through.
Yeah.
Exactly.
chew through a lot.
Yeah, no, a hamster-sized dog, you know, less to deal with. You can put them in your pocket.
Caleb, I think you're onto something. A dog-sized hamster is an overgrown rat. Very true. We have enough of those in New York.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, Ricardo thought he saw a bunny one time. It was actually a rat in Central
It was a
Park.
rat. It was hopping like a rabbit, but he had a very long tail.
Yeah. All right, next question. Would you rather have the power to turn invisible or be able to fly?
Everybody's saying fly.
Yeah, I'm all
For
about
sure.
flying too.
Yeah, no more subway.
Hmm.
Just fine.
Should we all break out into that classic R. Kelly song? I believe I can fly. Woo!
Oh, look
Keep singing, Nate. Keep singing, Nate.
vocals. All right, we gotta put you on the worship team.
No. We want people to think about God, not about how bad my voice is. All right. Would you rather have a lot of
to see their need for God, you know?
That is true. Would you rather have a lot of mediocre friends or only one best friend? Seeing a lot of one best friends. Thought there'd be a few people who like, no, like the more the merrier. Like, you know, the more friends you have, the better. All right, let's go to the next one here. Okay, so one person there for mediocre friends. Got a couple.
Just for you, Nate. Just for you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I did the same thing just for you, Nate.
That's so funny. All right. Would you rather have super sensitive taste buds or super sensitive hearing?
Maybe taste buds.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wish I could actually change mine. Because if you had something good, then if you had super sensitive taste buds, I bet it'd be off the charts really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sensitive hearing, like I feel like my hearing's already sensitive enough. I have like ambulances outside my building and it's not fun.
Yeah, that'd be rough.
In New York, you don't want sensitive hearing.
You already got them. Yes.
For real. Hearing because you can hear people sneaking up on you. Okay, well, you got some people trying to make you from behind. Let's talk about that. All right. Would you rather be the hero that saved the girl or the villain that took over the world? Do you want the girl or do you want the world?
Who's the girl?
Oh man,
That's
true.
Real. All right, we got a good balance. We have some heroes and some villains on this call. Where do you write this? So there's a link. I'll drop it again. Just jump on that link on like your phone or on your computer, and you can chime in to these questions. And Ross, let me know when we need to jump to like announcements or something like that.
Sure. Why don't we do like a couple more, then we can get started.
Okay. All right, one more or a couple more. Would you rather have a face that everyone laughs at or a name that everyone laughs at?
For sure the name.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The face you're
I
stuck
agree
with.
with that.
Name.
People already laugh at my face. I don't need more. Just go with the name.
Are they laughing with me or at me? Good question, Simi. I guess it could be a good icebreaker for any room you come into. Bro, the name you can change or abbreviate. Totally true, Caleb. I agree with that. All right, let's go. Let's see what the next one is. Would you rather be trapped in a romantic comedy with your enemies or trapped in a horror movie with your friends?
Oh man, this one's good.
It's a good question. Yeah.
That's a hard one.
Wow.
I think I'm gonna go with the romantic comedy. I just don't want to see
Yeah.
it die.
Yeah, I chose the same. What about you, Sam? You chose
I mean,
horror.
gotta go with the romantic comedy, right? At least you don't
So-
die.
I don't know. Caleb yeah. Caleb's all about the horror movie with friends. Resident Evil role play.
Unless it's like a Final Destination situation where if you beat it, you're good.
Yeah, it could be like an escape the room. I just feel like a rom-com with your enemies would feel like a horror movie.
That's true.
Same.
Oh man.
All right, let's get one more in here. So actually, let me get a little. Would you rather your only mode of transportation be a donkey or a giraffe? Trying to come in rolling big.
Definitely a giraffe.
Yeah. Giraffes are awesome.
Big time.
The only thing is, how do you get on the giraffe and how do you get off? You know what I mean?
You use your flying powers. You levitate up.
Exactly.
Giraffes can use their necks like a whip to like attack things.
Is that a thing?
Polyfunctional.
Yeah, they like
it.
Attack with their necks.
Interesting fact of the day. Thanks, Sam.
No problem. That's what I'm here for.
I did see a guy on TikTok ride a giraffe once.
Was this while you were on the bathroom?
It was a hot mess.
Was this while you were
While I was in the bathroom. Yep.
This is a bathroom break. TikTok.
I love how you're
Amazing
eating is
things
being
you learn.
recorded.
Last one. Would you rather be able to control animals or be able to see into the future?
Ooh. I'm gonna say animals.
I don't really know if I want to see the future.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Takes the fun.
Keep it interesting, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, a lot of people in the chat are going for the animals. I picked seeing the future.
What? That's so boring.
Well, animals can ride giraffes, dude.
I just want control, you know, like
But
I want to know.
Well, you can control the animals.
You can't. Yeah, you can't control the future. It's gonna happen. You're not controlling it. Animals, you're gonna be flying on your giraffe, and then you control your giraffe.
You're gonna fly on my.
It's gonna be beautiful.
If you leveraged your future knowledge, I mean, you could like invest in certain stocks and things, and then you could work it so that you can have some control over some stuff.
How much of the future are you seeing? Are you seeing like 10 minutes into the future?
Good question. If it's 10 minutes, that's actually not a bad constraint because then you're not like overwhelmed with
just
5 years from now.
It's like, well, I know I'm gonna drop my ice cream, so let me put it away.
Let me put it away. Put it in my pocket so I don't drop it.
Right. Next to my hamster-sized dog.
Exactly. Kevin, yeah, you're right. If you can see the future, you can always change what happens.
Can you?
Yeah, because if it's the future, isn't it guaranteed?
Yeah, you've already seen it, then it happens, and it's gotta happen.
So you're gonna suffer twice, is what you're saying.
Oh, yeah, that's an interesting point.
That would be
I'm gonna stick to control animals, pest control all the way. Keep those,
those New York City
rabbit
rats from you.
Exactly, rabbit rats at bay.
Well, Ross, I guess I can hand it over to you if you want to do some announcements.
Great. All right, guys, welcome to the men's class of Thursday at our virtual teen camp. Great to be together with you guys, and I hope you've enjoyed this icebreaker that Nate pulled together, and it's actually really cool to have some special guests. We'll get to that in a little bit and talk a little bit more about that. But first, I want to make sure we know that if you are a girl and you're on here, this is the guys class, the men's class. So you can just go to the girls cabin link. It's also in your emails that were sent out this morning. So just make sure you head over there, because right now, while we're on the men's class, there's a simultaneous girls class going on their Zoom link. So we're going to start right now and just set our minds by worshiping God. And I wanted to play Anchor for the Soul. This was another one that was done by our very own Youth and Family Ministries between New York and Boston together. So let's go ahead and just get our mindset really thinking about God. And I love what this song says. It talks about heaven, and that one day we'll be there with all our faithful friends. And as we have a class that's about friendships, it's really cool to be really reflecting on that as we sing Anchor for the Soul. So let's sing this song together.
Anchor for the soul, shelter from the storm. Thunder and the lightning can be very frightening, but God is in control. Anchor for the soul, shelter from the storm. Manna in the morning, blessings overflowing, leading us to home. This was not my home, just a passing through. Through this life I wander, treasure stored up yonder, somewhere beyond the blue. On my way I learn, through each path I take. Every day I'm growing, on my way I'm knowing heaven's worth the wait. Anchor for the soul, shelter from the storm. Thunder and the lightning can be very frightening, but God is in control. Anchor for the soul, anchor for the soul, shelter from the storm. Manna in the morning, blessings overflowing, leading us to home. When the day is gone, when my journey ends, there'll be nothing better than to be together with all my faithful friends. We'll all join in song, gather round the throne. There'll be no more sorrow someday when tomorrow heaven is our home. Anchor for the soul, shelter from the storm. Thunder and the lightning can be very frightening, but God is in control. Anchor for the soul, anchor for the soul, shelter from the storm. Manna in the morning, blessings overflowing, leading us to home. Anchor for the soul, anchor for the soul, shelter from the storm. Thunder and the lightning can be very frightening, but God is in control. Anchor for the soul, shelter from the storm. Manna in the morning, blessings overflowing, leading us to home. Manna in the morning, blessings overflowing.
an awesome song. What a great worship song. And it's so cool to see our worship being led all by teens. Right now, what I want to ask is if there's a teen or a couple teens, if you guys want to say a prayer for us as we get started. So if you want to volunteer in the chat, we'd just love to get a couple of words of prayer in here as we get started. So if you're feeling brave and courageous today, if we could get somebody to pray. Don't all volunteer at once. All right, Simi, here we go. Let me just pull you up here. All right, let's pray.
God, thank you for today. Thank you for all your blessings. Thank you for how you cherish us and how you love us and how you give us grace even when we don't deserve it, God. I pray that you bless the message. I pray that you speak through whoever is delivering the message today. I pray that it inspires us to be better for you, God. And I pray that we all go away that we all come away from this message learning something new, God. I pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Come on, Simi. Thank you so much. That was awesome. Great prayer. And just so awesome to start out our time together, singing songs, praying to God, worshiping him. A few quick announcements, and we're going to jump into our lesson. One thing I want to make sure you guys know about is that we have a lot of free time activities today. So this afternoon at 3 p.m., we're going to have some Among Us yoga flow with Nena Franchamore. So anybody wants to do some yoga, hey, you could do that. And then at 3 p.m., Phil Garrison is doing how to bake amazing chocolate chip cookies. So going on simultaneously as the yoga class, you can learn how to bake chocolate chip cookies from scratch. You will not be disappointed. He told me he has like multiple camera angles that are going to be going on so you can see what he's doing. That should be pretty cool. At 4 p.m., there's going to be a coding class. Anybody in here, you super into tech and into coding, that kind of stuff? Carla Murdoch is going to be doing a coding class. It's called AI Ocean Adventure. So you're going to learn some coding. We do want to make sure our apologies. I guess she was supposed to do that on Tuesday, and she just got her times mixed up. So I actually heard a lot of people were signed up and had gone on at 3, and she was on at 2. So there was a little bit of a virtual mix up there. But everybody knows 4 p.m. today for the coding class. Then at 5 p.m., there's going to be a paint night session with Daisy Santiago. So 5 p.m. And again, for all of those different classes, like for the baking, there are some things you're going to want to have on hand. And so you can go to the website that was incredible. I don't know who made that website, but man, it's phenomenal. And you can go on the website and you can find out what materials you need for like the painting night, or for how to bake amazing chocolate chip cookies. So all the materials you need are on the website. Tonight, we are going to be having our virtual talent show. We're very excited about our virtual talent show. Actually, let me do this too real quick, just to kind of spice things up. Very excited about our talent show. I'm so glad you guys are also so excited. I hear you guys cheering over there. And so I'm going to post it one more time in the chat. I know that a lot of us, we've gotten some great submissions. I even was getting messages early on while we were doing our Would You Rather game, people saying, hey, I dropped something in the folder. So again, if you want to submit for the virtual talent show, there's still time to do it. But the cutoff is definitely going to be like sometime this afternoon. So just make sure that you put it in there. If you've made a video of yourself, that's going to be great. And then finally, if you are a graduated senior, if you just graduated high school and you would like to share at our bonfire tomorrow night, we're going to do a virtual bonfire, virtual fire crackling in the background, and Sam Lee will be emceeing that and hosting it. But if you can message Sam Lee, if you are a graduated senior and you want to share a few words around the bonfire. Right now, I get the privilege of introducing our speakers for this morning. Very excited. Our lesson is Crewmates. And so in the Among Us game, you know that you're working with other people. And so we wanted to do a lesson on friendships. And so our speakers for today are Nate Baker, Ricardo Medina, Ben Middlekauff, and our very own Sam Lee. it up, give it up. And we're really excited about these guys all coming on. So they're going to be each speaking and talking a little bit. There's going to be a little bit of a panel. And at the end, we'll have a discussion. But it's very cool. I'm grateful to each of you guys, Nate, Ricardo, Ben, and Sam, in so many various ways. They've each been a great friend to me. But I also know they have a really strong friendship amongst their friend group as crewmates in this life. And so very excited to hear from them. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Nate Baker.
Cool. Thank you, Ross. Appreciate that. So yeah, well, yeah, I guess you know my name, Nate. But who is Nate? So I live here in Manhattan. I'm a designer, originally from the West Coast, Best Coast, California, and have settled down and been in New York for the last 8 or so years and working with the youth and family ministry, and just loving the church out here. But yeah, as Ross said, the title of today's lesson is Crewmates. And so I told, Ben, Sam, and Ricardo that I was going to be the Oprah to their Backstreet Boys. So I'm Oprah, I'm like the host, and they will be the Backstreet Boys that will be featured a little bit later. So I'm gonna tee everything up here. But yeah, Crewmates. And so I put a little tagline on it. It's my own little spin. What a man desires is unfailing love. This comes from Proverbs 19:22. And this is a verse that has meant a lot for me. I think the world tells us so many different things that we should desire, things that we should want, whether it's, good grades or a great college or that dope whip with the 24-inch rims or the 28-inch rims or the 32s. It gets bigger and bigger, right? We need success, we need girls, we need money, we need fame, we need to have an amazing body, or maybe we just need to have a dad bod, now that's being celebrated, right? So there's all these different, I see Ricardo's happy, but there's all these different things that the world tells us that we should desire. But I love that this Proverbs just gets to the heart of it, that what we desire is unfailing love. And the rest of the scripture says, what a man desires is unfailing love, better be poor than a liar. And so this was super helpful for me because I think it's easy for me to think that, no, I don't really need friends. I'm good on my own. I can be a lone wolf. But what the scripture says in context is, if you believe that, you're lying to yourself, right? It's better to be poor with friends than to have a lot of money and a lot of things and not have friends. And so that's just a little bit of context as we jump in. But as Ross said, there are a lot of parallels between this concept of crewmates and friends, right? And so in the game, you have crewmates, and there's tons of different crewmates, tons of colors and styles and hairs, and you have all your own personality. But within the gameplay, there are a couple roles goals that the crewmates have, right? First goal is to complete all the tasks without being killed. And then another goal is to find all the imposters and inject them off the ship, right? And so this, requires teamwork. It requires trust. Sometimes you're making pacts with people in the game, don't kill me, I won't kill you, let's stay together as we do these tasks, you're trying to really watch your back. But I think there also there are a lot of positive things that I think can relate to this concept of friendship and relationships. But there are also some negative things because, who are the imposters, right? Who are these folks? You don't know. And it makes you question your mates, your crewmates, the people that you are supposed to be trusting, right? And if you've been burned once, it's I don't know if I'm gonna trust Ricardo again. Last game, he straight up murked me. He came out the vent with the knife and that was it, And so it can test your trust. And if you've been burned once, then you don't want to get burned again, right? And so very easily it can become this whole notion of, well, I just need to handle my business and I'm gonna watch out for all the fake friends, right? And that's how we can also think about life sometimes. And I think there's a really well-known poet and philosopher that I want to quote real quick. So Aubrey Graham says, "I got fake people showing fake love to me," right? So it's a great song from Drake. This is young Drake right here, Drizzy with the little fro and the glasses, but it's real. you know, sometimes you can feel like, man, there's all these fake people showing fake love to me. Like, who can I really trust out here? And then, you know, you get grown-up Drake and it's like, nah, no new friends, no new, right? So then we start like creating this really small circle of people because they're like, I can't trust anybody, right? And so I think the real question can then become like, man, who can I trust? How do I make real friendships? It can be hard to trust if you've been burned in the past before. But also, like, people make mistakes. So how do you know if somebody's being a fake friend or if somebody's just being a human being and making mistakes? I see people laughing, so I need to check out the chat. Yeah, Drake looks kind of the same, just glasses. His fro moved to his chin. I love that. So yeah, keep it coming in the chat. But yeah, it's like, okay, how do we make friends? Well, I don't know if you guys noticed, these are some photos of a really early rap group from back in early 2000s. I don't know if you guys recognize this group. Maybe this photo will help. If you recognize it, throw up in the chat. No takers. All right, well, here's the last photo. So it's actually, this is me and my friends back in 2009. There's no way you would have guessed this. And so the name was Vision, right, of our rap group. We were all seniors in high school. And, you know, one of my favorite quotes is from Stevie Wonder. I love that people thought it was Eminem. But one of my favorite quotes from Stevie Wonder is, just because a man lacks sight doesn't mean he lacks vision. And so we were going to call ourselves Vision. The name of the album was going to be Blind Man's Truth. We went out to like the water here in San Francisco. These are 3 photos from like a 200 photo shoot we took before we recorded anything. We're like, yo, we got to look dope. Like that's the main thing, you know, look, sell, and then, you know, we can get the music out there. But I share this because it's funny, but also because it represents a time in my life where I had friendships, I had relationships, but deep down I was really struggling to understand what it really meant to have real friends, what it really meant to be vulnerable, what it really meant to care for somebody else more than I cared for myself. And that was like one of my biggest concerns, and still can be one of my biggest concerns, is, man, like, I don't want to like be alone, or I don't want to die alone, you know? And it was honestly in this moment in time that, through grappling with trying to understand relationships, how do I have friendships, how do I keep friendships, how do I make sure they're deep, that I really saw my need for God, and saw that like I couldn't do this on my own. You know, in my own flesh, I'm going to continue to be selfish, to be prideful, to continue to like turn my back on other people, or just be a lone wolf. And that's how I really saw my need for God. And so the question for us today is kind of, how do we build real friendships? And so that's what this conversation and this topic is really all about. And so to set this up, all right, see you, Paul. Good luck with the doctor's appointment. But to set this up, I want to look at this passage over here in Luke 5, starting in verse 12 through 16. And it says, while Jesus was in one of the towns, a man came along who was covered with leprosy. When he saw Jesus, he fell with his face to the ground and begged him, Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean. Jesus reached out his hand and touched the man. I'm willing, he said, be clean. Wait, I put the wrong thing in here. Horrible. This is the wrong verse. Okay, well, let me, plot twist. All right, let's pull up Bible Gateway real quick. Let's get to the right passage. This is great. Good thing this is all virtual and I can do this really easily. All right, so this is the actual passage we should be looking at. So Luke 5, verse 17, it says, one day Jesus was teaching, and Pharisees and teachers of the law were sitting there. They had come from every village of Galilee and from Judea and Jerusalem, and the power of the Lord was with Jesus to heal the sick. Some men came carrying a paralyzed man on a mat and tried to take him into the house to lay him before Jesus. When they could not find a way to do this because of the crowd, they went up on the roof and lowered him on his mat through the tiles into the middle of the crowd. right in front of Jesus. When Jesus saw their faith, he said, "Friend, your sins are forgiven." The Pharisees and the teachers of the law began thinking to themselves, "Who is this fellow who speaks blasphemy? Who can forgive sins but God alone?" Jesus knew what they were thinking and asked, "Why are you thinking these things in your hearts? Which is easier to say, 'Your sins are forgiven,' or to say, 'Get up and walk'? But I want you to know that the Son of Man has authority on earth to forgive sins." So he said to the paralyzed man, "I tell you, get up, take your mat, and go home." Immediately he stood in front of them, took what he had been lying on, and went home praising God. Everyone was amazed and gave praise to God. They were filled with awe and said, "We have seen remarkable things today." So with that, I'm going to introduce, well, they've already been introduced, but I'll reintroduce our panelists for today. My crewmates for today are Samuel Lee, Ricardo, and Ben Middlekauff. These are beautiful, candid shots that were sent to me courtesy of their wives. You can thank them for embarrassing you publicly in this way. But yeah, these are awesome men that have been my roommates. They've been in my weddings. Ricardo married Ben to Sarah, his now wife. And there's so many bonds and stories between all of us, and it's really a pleasure to share the stage with them. I want to also say we're going to keep this interactive, this conversation. So I know that I've dropped the AHA slides link in before. If you didn't get on there now, because while we're doing our live panel discussion, there are going to be some questions for you guys in the audience. Get Sam rolled. Yeah, so there are going to be questions that you guys in the audience can respond to as well. And we're going to kind of like dialogue back and forth as we go. So with that, Ross, I guess I'm still sharing my screen. So like first question to the guys and to the audience is, what stands out the most from the passage that we just read to you guys? And in the audience, you guys can just drop in phrases. Ben, Sam, and Ricardo, unmute. We can just get going.
Yeah, I mean, I love that you picked the dopest pictures for you and your friends, and then when you introduce us, you pick the craziest pictures, and sure blame the wifeys. And see how it is.
That's what they said. I said, "Give me a headshot," and that's what they said.
Amazing.
Yeah, the passage is the first thing that always stands out to me about this passage is actually the creativity. You automatically think of going horizontally one way, and then to go vertically, like it's a whole different dimension.
Okay, so you're talking about climbing?
Yeah.
The roof?
But just the creativity of the friends, that they cared that much, they were willing to think outside the box, like literally.
Yeah, definitely. Sam?
Yeah, no, I love this passage. It's always one of my favorites. And there's a few things that stand out to me, but one of the things is like difficulty. Because there's a lot of stories, I think, in the Bible of people approaching Jesus. They get on their knees, they ask for healing, and they get healed, right? But these guys, they had to carry their friends on the mat. They come all this way, and then they get blocked by this crowd, and so they try to climb up, but now there's a roof blocking them. They got to make a hole in the roof, bring them down, and it's just this whole process of and how difficult this whole process was. But the fact that they never gave up, each step of the way. They never said to themselves, "Oh well, you can't walk, so we can't go," or "There's too many people, so we got to turn back," or "There's a literal roof in our way, so we can't do it." They just keep going. I love that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, just the boldness and the audacity. And they tore through a roof. Like,
I always feel bad for the person's roof. I'm always like, man. Insurance, probably no insurance. So
that's true. No, I mean, I was gonna say that I agree with all that, because it's like, the guys had to first of all carry this dude, which is like, oh my gosh, okay, what if this guy's heavy? What if he's just difficult to carry or whatever it is? It just takes so much work. And then what exactly, how'd you climb the roof of the house? like it must have taken so much effort, and then like, pick up the mat and open up the roof, make a mess, and probably Jesus down there and like dust discovering the place and falling on everyone. It's like they definitely made a scene. They were not scared to make a scene. They were willing, pushing, they persevere. I think the other thing that stands out to me is not just the friends, because I think the friends is like super, super clear that they were trying to help this guy out. It's like, no, we care, we love him. Jesus there. It's like, I don't care what it takes. I'm just gonna go in and bring my friend. But I think also the willingness of the guy and like the humility to say like, all right, you know what? I can't go there by myself. Like, sure, let's do it. It's gonna be embarrassing. We're gonna make a scene. I don't know. Can we really do it? What if you drop me while we're on the roof? Like all these questions. But the guy was humble. He's like, all right, you know what? Like, let's do it.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. The humility of the guy to allow his friends to like carry him and do all that. That's gotta be tough. Like who knows how long this man's been paralyzed, and so it could have been years of humility of not being able to do things on his own, and to do something so public and bring all this attention to himself in this way. Definitely took a lot of humility to endure that. Yeah. I think we can move on to the next question here, for you guys and the audience. Like, what do you think, like, why did the friends care so much about their friend who was paralyzed? Like, what do you think must have been true about their friendship for them to care so much? Think about the backstory.
I think when I was thinking about why they care so much, like I think they had to fully understand what this guy was going through, because they obviously weren't paralyzed. So like there's different things in our friends' lives that like we might not necessarily relate to, but for them to be able to like fully like try as hard as they can to like fully understand and like really feel what their friend must be going through. I feel like that's what must have motivated them, was that empathy, that strong empathy, that they could understand how this guy might feel, and the urgency. Like they're like, if I was like in this situation, like I would want help. So like, let me make sure my friend gets as much help as I would want for myself if I was in that situation.
Yeah, and I think to understand that, I mean, there was a lot of time spent between these 5 guys. It wasn't like they had met just like a week before or a month before. Like they spent their lives together, really, and share their lives together. To be able to be at this point. It really doesn't say anything about how far they came from. Ross had mentioned, what if the dude had a dad bod? You don't know how heavy this dude was. Carrying a dude is a lot, and so. I think the amount of time it must have taken, I think says a lot. But also, I think what's really cool is, at some point, one of these friends must have heard about Jesus, and how he could heal, and this friend decided to share Jesus with the rest of his friend group, which I think is really cool. And I think that added into how much they cared, because they heard about this man who could miraculously heal, and their faith in Jesus, kind of made them care more about the situation of, hey, there's this guy who can do this, so let's go, let's make it happen.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think Sam said it, but it's like you had to live life with this guy to like really care for him. You know what I mean? It's like you've seen the man, and like what if the guy wasn't paralyzed before, right? Like what if it was like us 5, Nave, myself, Ben, Sam, Ross, and we've lived life, and then all of a sudden something crazy happens. So what their lives was like before he was paralyzed, and now you're seeing him like go through it. You're seeing him suffer, and you're seeing him feel this intense situation. And like I think that's when like your heart really goes out to people the most, right? It's like when you can experience, or when you can see him again, like the before and after, and almost like, man, I want you to go back to your best, You know, like, I want you to go back to when you were happy. I want you to go back when you were, you know, filled and moving, and it's anything along those lines where they're their best. So I'm gonna push, and I'm gonna fight, and like I'm saying, like, yo, I heard this guy Jesus, he's the man. Like, he can totally help you out. And maybe it was all crazy, maybe it was all fake, but let's try it out. Let's all of us, let's grab this guy, get him up there. It doesn't matter what it takes, but if he can go back to his best, man, I want to do it. I want to take him there.
Yeah, no, I love that. I want to I'm going to stop the screen share and just go lock in on you guys right now. But for you four, well, you three, I can't include myself in the four. For you three, like, have you been paralyzed, by life, and had a friend help carry you? And like, how did that moment impact you?
I mean, I'll share. I think, there are certain moments and there's certain things that will definitely hit you so hard that you're going to feel paralyzed. And I think the older I've gotten, the more I feel like I've felt those moments, and I felt those like times where I'm like, man, I got hit so hard, like I can't even get up, like I'm just taken out. And to be like super, super real, like my dad passed away back in like 2011. And he was like 47 years old. I was like, I can't remember, like 22, something like that. And that's something fully unexpected. It hits you like a ton of bricks. I mean, I can't even describe the amount of pain that I felt and that my family was feeling at the time. But I had just so many people like feeling for me and like really embracing me. And then I think in many ways, like, I definitely felt carried. I was in the campus ministry at the time, sophomore year in college. And there were people like Ryan McCullough, who's now part of the Hudson Valley region. And there were so many people also like in my campus ministry that like, they just riled up. They're like, hey, I don't know how you're dealing with all of this. I don't know how you can handle this amount of pain, but how are you? Like what's going on? Like, how can I help? How can I serve? And I truly believe that my discipleship up until that point, and I think I have been a disciple for about like maybe 6 years, 5-6 years. I think it was all training for me to be able to handle this moment. It was almost like I had heard about Jesus, right? I had been living the life of a Christian. So when I did get paralyzed, man, I couldn't get to him. I knew he was there, but my friends were like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm gonna pull you in. I'm gonna get you closer, because right now you can't see it. There's no way for you to get there. So I'm grateful. I'm definitely grateful.
Yeah, no, for me, I'll share. Well, so it's funny. I actually have moments with all three of you guys that I feel like there's moments in life that were paralyzing that all three of you guys helped out with a lot. So I'll share those really quickly. But so Sam and I actually used to live together, and we actually had a couple roommates who ended up leaving God. And I remember like Sam and I went on a prayer walk, and really through the rest of that time, like supported each other. But I know I felt paralyzed at that time. So I was so grateful for Sam, and like definitely needed him as a friend and as a roommate. Then Ricardo actually, him and his wife helped my wife as we were before we got married, to like kind of teach us what marriage was about. And Ricardo was actually the one who married me. So like in that paralysis of like, what is married life? Like, how do I be a good husband? Like all that stuff, like Ricardo was really there for me during that time. And then with Nate, I had a close friend who passed away suddenly, and it was pretty devastating. But Nate was there to like encourage me and to like really be there during that time. And still we still talk about it and stuff. So super grateful for all three of you guys for those moments, those crazy moments of life, for sure.
Yeah. Before I share, if anyone later in life needs a wedding officiant, ask Ricardo, because he's
do not. I've retired, done it once, and I'm done. So yeah.
No, but I think my story the one I want to share about is a little different because it wasn't like a moment that paralyzed me, but it was more like having been like paralyzed for a long time. You know, growing up in the you know, I grew up with a single mom and a dad who wasn't really in the picture, and I grew up kind of just really bottling down like my feelings, you know, and I remember just not really going day to day, like not really understanding how I felt, just feeling like, okay, whatever, like when situations happen, you don't really understand. I felt, you know, like emotionally paralyzed. And what actually helped me a lot was actually living with Ben. Because you know, I lived with Ben for 3 years in college, and Ben was like I felt like he was like the opposite, right? He was really like in tune with his emotions. He would share about his emotions, and at first I'd be like, man, what's going on? This is weird. But living with Ben and kind of really seeing his example helped me a lot to understand what it was, you know, that it was, you know, it's manly to share about your emotions and to share how you're doing and to talk about it. You know, and especially I think that first year there were a lot of bumping heads and frustrating moments between me and Ben, especially because of, you know, I didn't understand my feelings. I didn't know how to share about them, but I think just it wasn't like one moment, but that consistency of, and then later, you know, living with Nate and seeing both of them really helped me a lot to, yeah, to understand and to be able to share my feelings and to be vulnerable.
Real. Yeah, Ben the therapist. Let's make that a hashtag.
No, I'm not a perfect. Don't come to me with your problems.
Not true. Ben is great. Ben is awesome.
Yeah, Ricardo can marry you. Ben can do your therapy sessions. And we're waiting for what Sam's category is going to be. We're waiting for that. But no, I think that's real. Like, it can be really hard to be vulnerable, and like having somebody who can express that and help work that out of you. Like, I guess back to you guys, especially in these moments where we feel paralyzed. Like, why do you think it's so hard to be vulnerable? Why do you think it's so hard sometimes to like reach out and ask for help?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think, well, so I guess I can speak to kind of how I grew up, but I feel like you think of like, you know, your guy, you know, you're supposed to be dealing with things kind of on your own, or at least that's kind of what the world tells you, you know, like you're gonna, whatever, maybe it's a lone wolf, maybe you just tough it out. You're like, you know what, this is painful, but I'm good, you know, like I can handle it. But in reality, you're just, I don't know, kind of dwelling in the pain. And, you know, again, I look back at like what I was sharing earlier with my dad, and like, I cannot imagine myself trying to go through something as big and dramatic without like, again, people in my life who knew me, who understood who I was before I went through something crazy, and then, you know, during, and, you know, even now after. Like I think of like Ben, and like when he asked me like if I could marry them, like I was like, are you kidding me? Like there are so many other people who are far more spiritual. Like look at just Ross Lippincott. You know, he's got the looks, he's got the talent, he can sing, he can do it all. But you know, and again, like from both ends, like both of your parents, you have like incredible people that like could have done a better job. But I think what stayed with me was like, no, but you know us, like, you know, Sarah, like individually, like, you know, myself, like, you know, Ben, like, you know me. And I think that's so important, right? Like the people who we end up going through life with are people who know us. Like that's how you can trust somebody. And, you know, back to like the story of Jesus, like, yeah, like the guys like brought him up and like they did all this work. But the guy had to be super vulnerable, and he had to be like, hey, you know what, like, all right, guys, we're doing this. I don't know what I'm doing. I've been in this situation for who knows how long, but I trust you guys. Like, you know me. I know that you mean the best for me. You know, I can't see the path. I can't see the way, and I don't know how we're gonna get to Jesus. But yeah, let's go for it. Let's do it. Trust is a big thing.
Trust is huge. Trust is huge. And real quick, Ben and Sam, like, why do you think it's so hard for us to trust or to be vulnerable at times?
because I think it takes, I mean, it takes an insane level of humility to say, hey, I need help, you know? And I think that's why, you know, I think in these times it's all about, right, the work that you put in beforehand and who you've surrounded yourself with, because once you get to that moment, I feel like it's so easy to just freeze up and just get paralyzed, you know, and you're just like, I don't even know what to do. And it takes an incredible level of humility to reach out. But, you know, we don't really know, I guess, in the story what happened, but I would like to, you know, imagine that it was the friends who reached out to the paralyzed man of like, hey, let's go. And I think in life, that's what often happens is we're in these moments and it's the friends that we've built over the years that reach out. Because it just, yeah, you know, we all want to think, you know, we're humble and, you know, we can do it, but it's like, you know, it gets so hard in those moments. And like Ricardo said, like the world teaches us as men that we're not like grown up enough if we can't figure things out by ourselves, right? That's, you know, that's what you got to do as an adult. You gotta figure things out when tough times come. But yeah, I think it's all about having been surrounded by people.
Totally. I mean, I think like even like in the world, like I have friends in the world who were pointing me to like, you know what, yo, let's just go drink. Like, you know, that's gonna help you feel better. Like that's gonna help you forget about stuff. And I also have friends who are like, you know what, like, man, let's just take some time to pray. You know, let's just take some time to like take it to Jesus. And yeah, I mean, to your point, Sam, like who we surround ourselves is gonna dictate a lot. Because, you know, when you're paralyzed, when you're going through it, you're not gonna be thinking straight. And I wasn't thinking straight. Like I was for months, for a long time, I was just like out of it. And again, if it wasn't for people around me who knew me, you know, I probably would have taken a different approach.
I'm gonna go back to AHA slides real quick for one of our final questions here. So I'm gonna ask, like, you know, kind of the climax of the story is the fact that Jesus is amazed by their faith, and I think this dovetails with what we just were talking about. Like, why do you think faith is so important in friendships to like keep a friendship strong?
Because we're sinful. You know, we're messed up. We make mistakes all the time. And that faith, it helps to overcome, I think, those moments, you know, when we mess up, when we fall down, when we make mistakes. We need to, one, have faith in each other, certainly, and the kinds of friends that we are to each other, but also the kind of faith to have in Jesus to be able to overlook one another's mistakes when we do mess up, to be able to keep going.
Yeah, I think that's really true what Sam said. I think like faith covers a lot of different things. And like connects us, I think, on a deeper level as well. Like because you can connect over like music, the same music or the same activities or whatever. But faith, like sometimes like those eventually die out or whatever. But faith is something that can be like kind of just that is long term and keep us connected on a deeper level and more long term for sure.
Yeah. And I think like for me, right, faith is being sure of what we hope for, certain of what we do not see. And again, if I can be sure that like, look, you know, Ben's got faith, you know, Sam's got faith, like, you know, when my faith is lacking, their faith's going to be covering for my lack of faith. And likewise, you know, when they're going through it, hopefully my faith will take them places. We're going to be sure that we're going to get to heaven. Like there's nothing more awesome than feeling like, hey, you know what, we're in this, we're fighting together, it's going to be good. You know, I don't know what life's going to bring. I don't know what kind of you know, pain and, you know, mental, physical paralysis we're going to feel, but like, yo, we're going to get there. You know, Nate's going to help us out. He's going to be the opera tour Backstreet Boys. He'll help us out.
Yeah, no, well, hopefully I can be your Oprah. Hopefully I did a good job. I don't have the hair that Oprah has, but yeah, I mean, just seeing everybody else's responses is like, yeah, like faith, you know, builds trusting, and keeps us going. You can trust others, build each other up, all these other things. And I think it's so true, like those bonds and that faith that we have for one another is so important, because you might not see see the other side, or see yourself getting to the other side of this obstacle, but your friends can see that for you. And I think that's why faith is so important in friendships and can really help us go the distance. And so just like in closing here, just want to like ask you guys, do you have like any like tips or advice that you'd give to these teens just about building strong friendships? And if you could just have like one or two things, and then we'll just go around the horn and close this out.
Totally. I mean, I would say live life with your friends, right? Like experience life, whether it's, join a sport team. I know I play a bunch of board games with all of you. Like that's how we live life. We laugh about things. We watch movies together. We experience life. We're going on a little trip in a couple of days with some of you. It's going to be awesome. Live life with your buddies and expect the best, right? Like, okay, I don't know how these dudes are going to get me to the roof of the house. I don't know how we're going to get to Jesus, but like, hey, you know what? They mean well. I expect the best. We're going to live life and have fun while we do it.
Don't be afraid to initiate, right? I mean, you life is, about change, and you get put into different new situations. Some of you are going into high school for the first time. Some of you are going to college for the first time. And what you've known, what you're familiar with, it's not always there. But you can't be afraid to just go out. I mean, it takes some of letting go of yourself. But when you go for it, because you never know, where that's going to lead you. And sometimes you gotta, stick in there and keep initiating and keep fighting for it. I mean, we all are aware, obviously, of the pandemic, and I really appreciated playing board games with some of the people on a consistent basis on Sundays, Ricardo and Ben, and some of the people some more people that aren't here, but that really helped me, keep me grounded. But I had to, go for it. I had to drive into Manhattan. All these guys live in Manhattan. I live in Queens. I had to drive into Manhattan, on Sundays before we moved it to virtual. And I remember with Ben, we had to like initiate by, we started our friendship by, I invited her over to my dorm, and we started watching movies together, and just watching and connecting really helped to build that friendship. So, and I know, we were going to live together for 3 years after that. But when you start by initiating, it can take you far in the friendship.
This is really good stuff. Man, you guys are so wise. I think the advice I would give is to if there's stuff like inside, to like let it free and not hold it all on your own shoulders, and just have friends who can help you carry that load inside your heart.
Awesome. I think that's great. Yeah, if I had a piece of advice with regards to friendship, it really is, I think, kind of dovetailing on what Ben said. It is like that vulnerability and being open, because if somebody doesn't know what you don't tell them, like if you're hurting, they're not going to know unless you tell them, because an emotional wound is not like a physical wound that somebody can see. Or if they hurt you, they're not going to know unless you tell them. And there's so many friendships and relationships that I hold dear now, that are dear friends because we worked through those hard things, because they were willing to share what they were hurt by, or I was willing to share what I was hurt by, or be vulnerable about something I was going through. One of I'll close with this and hand it over to Ross. But one of the kind of quintessential moments for me about friendship was, and it's not about any of the guys on this call, I won't make you guys feel jealous of each other, but one of the stories that comes to mind was really this moment when I was, I'd just broken up with my then girlfriend, was super down, super depressed. Life didn't feel the same. I'm now happily married, so I think life is good now. But at that point, it was like my whole world had fallen apart, because in my head, like I was gonna be one and done, like this was the girl, whatever. And I remember being on the phone with a friend, and honestly, like this guy had been very critical of me at different points. So it wasn't even like we were like the closest of friends, but we were on the phone together and we were praying, and I was just like bawling, just crying my eyes out. And then like I stopped crying and I could still hear somebody crying. And then I realized that he was still crying, that he had been crying the whole time and was still crying. And so I think for me, that kind of just really sums up just how powerful it is when you really let people in. They can really feel your pain, and sometimes even feel pain on a deeper level than even you do, and really help carry you through those moments. So yeah, with that, I'll hand it over to Ross, and I think we're going to do a little Q&A into the cabin talks. So.
Wow. Amen, guys. Let's give it up for Nate, for Ricardo, for Ben, for Sam. Guys, that was amazing. I gave you guys the awkwardly long clap as well, so you can just sit there and smile. We really appreciate all of you guys. And, you know, for the teens that are on the call, just so you know, too, I just sat here thinking this is so incredible because these 4 men of God, I mean, they all came through youth ministry, you know, and they came through. I mean, I remember Ricardo even. I remember him when I was a teen, you know, so it's just crazy to think about that and to see their faith over the years. These are, you know, you guys are such perfect men to come speak to us about this, because it's been your friendships with each other and with other people that were mentioned that are not here. But that's what it's all about. Being a Christian is just building these strong spiritual friendships and having those crewmates. And I also, please, like, give it up for them in the chat. Say thank you. You know, I know some of you have done that, but just show them some love, because I mean, these guys, they're working full-time jobs and they took their time out of their busy day to come here and speak to you guys, which really only would have been possible on Zoom, because to come out to Camp Tawanda, you know, probably would have been difficult, you know, for some of them. So this is amazing. So we're just grateful for the time that you did spend sharing with us. Right now, we're going to go into a cabin discussion. So if any of you guys do need to leave and hop off the call, you know, feel free to do so. We don't want to hold you. You could be released if you need to run and get back to work or do something else. But if you want to stay, you're welcome to stay and join us. And so I don't know, Nate, if you want to kind of do some Q&A, or if I can take it from here and kind of open up this discussion.
Yeah, I think given the time, I can hand it back to you and let you kind of open the discussion up.
All right. So let me do this. I'm gonna spotlight myself here. Okay, cool. So I guess I wanted to just open it up right now for you guys and just really see kind of what resonated with you from this lesson. It's really cool. I know Elinam, you were asking in the earlier cabin talk about friendships. And so this was cool to see this lesson, and hopefully that answered some different questions that you had. But does anybody want to raise your hand? Anybody just want to share, like, hey, something that really, you know, spoke to me, or something that resonated with me from this lesson? Or if you would like to thank our guest speakers. Okay, Simi. Let me find you here. All right.
Yeah, I really appreciated how we talked about how faith can really reinforce friendships, with you giving examples of how of like friendships in the world, and how flimsy they can be, really, without faith as a reinforcement. And it really resonated with me how it really made sense to me how God's love, how he shows that love to us. And we have 2 people that are believers, they both know of that love, and so they can show it to each other. And so it really resonated with me how a relationship like that can really be so strong.
Amen. Awesome. All right, let me get William here. We got William raising his hand.
Hi. So I just wanted to thank you for the message. It was moving. I'm a person that really I believe that I rely on my friendships and just being around people in general. And I can see how just having faith will just help your friendships in general. Like I've noticed in my life just how some of my friendships have stayed longer than others, like I guess depending either how long I've known them or where I've known them from. Like Simi, our parents have known each other before we were born, and then Simi and I met, and then we've always talked and just been friends since. And yeah.
Nice. Come on, William. Awesome sharing. Does anybody else want to respond? Say anything, just share what you got out of the message. What spoke to you the most? Was there a point that really resonated with you, or something that stuck out to you that you feel like is a big takeaway for you from this lesson? Caesar.
Yeah, I think this was a great lesson on friendship, and I think a lot of the stuff that these guys were sharing are things that I have experienced from my friendships in the church. And I think a couple of things have stood out to me. One, it was just the experiencing life together. I think the more you experience life together and you go through different things, the stronger your trust becomes. And you see each other in different circumstances, in different situations, and that builds faith in one another. And so you start to really believe, and you start to see different characteristics in your friends, and I see something that maybe my friend may not see in himself, and I have vision for him. I said, no, I totally could see you doing this. I totally could see you doing that. And I've been the recipient of that when I maybe I'm a little bit nearsighted, and I can only kind of see what's in front of me. My friends, because they believe in me or they have faith in me, they're able to instill that courage in me, and I'm able to, that gives me a little push, so I think the experiences that you have with your friends are really, really important. And I think this is just awesome, because I think as guys, we don't really talk about friendship, right? I think generally speaking, I think friendship is something that comes, I don't know if naturally is correct, but for whatever reason, women, I think, tend to have a little bit more of an easier time when it comes to friendships, for whatever reason. And so I think it's awesome that we're thinking about this, because as guys, like Nate said, like we can't just lone wolf it like all the time. Like that's not really what we're made for as people. We absolutely need friendships just as much as the next person. So I think this was great.
Amen. Come on, Caesar. Awesome. I appreciate your friendship, bro. So do we have anybody else that would like to share or say anything before we close out the call? I just wanted to kind of open it up. I know it is Thursday at camp, so we've been doing this now for a few days, and I know we can get a little tired, we get a little exhausted. The Zoom fatigue is real, but that was a killer lesson. That was like some solid gold that these guys just shared. And I love that we got to really see those relationships, and you felt it over the screen, right? You felt the friendship, you feel like the vibing, and even the joking at the beginning. And that really is a testament to the friendship they have built. And so I just want to really challenge all of you guys, and really call you to, try to build friendships like that, build friendships where you're close, where you can have fun, where you can joke, where there is a camaraderie. But does anybody else want to say anything before we close out the call? Daniel. And if you could turn your video on too, would be awesome.
Okay. I really wanted to thank you guys for this lesson, because I've had a couple of friends over the years, but I think the majority of like the real friends that I have right now are the ones that are in church and the ones that I could really have faith in. And I just really agreed with the lesson, and I just wanted to say thank you.
Ah, come on, Daniel. That was great. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate that. All right. Anybody else? Last call before we hop off this call and eat lunch. Elinam, I think we'll close with Elinam because I know you were asking about friendship. So I think it's only fitting, only right. All right, here we go.
Well, yeah, I think what I was asking yesterday got cleared up. Because I was asking about how you find friends or like what you need to do. And I guess what I learned from this, what I learned from them, I guess it's a little bit of both. You have to go and find them, or they come to you in certain situations. So I was really encouraged by like you guys' friendship and stuff like that. And I learned now that I need to get good roommates.
Nice one, Ellen. Very true. Who you live with, that makes a big deal, right? Having some great roommates. Well, guys, it's been real. This has been fantastic. I hope that you guys had as much fun as I did. And again, let's give it up for Nate and for Ben and for Sam, for Ricardo, who went back to work. But guys, remember, we've got free time activities this afternoon. Check your email for those links if you want to learn how to bake some cookies, or if you want to do some coding, any of that stuff, it's in your emails. And then tonight, 8 p.m. virtual talent show. You don't want to miss it. So again, thank you guys. I'm going to let you unmute if you want to say goodbye. And then I hope everybody enjoys their lunch. See you guys later.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, guys.